Bienvenidos a Coffee Break Spanish.
Welcome to the Coffee Break Spanish Show. Yo soy Marc.
Y yo soy Anabel.
¿Qué tal, Anabel?
Yo muy bien, ¿y tú qué tal?
Muy bien y muy contento de estar aquí contigo y con vosotros otra vez.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in these weekly episodes, we're helping you improve your Spanish one coffee break at a time.
Mm-hmm. And we can also look at some interesting things and challenge the listeners.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Now, if you're watching this video, then please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll get all of the future content as soon as it's available.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you are just listening to the podcast. In that case, remember to subscribe to the podcast feed, wherever you are listening to. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you said, Annabelle, that we've got something interesting to talk about today.
Mm-hmm. Eso es.
What is that?
Well, we are going to be talking about placement and adverbs and...
Okay, sounds good. Shall we get started?
Venga, vamos allá.
Now, this topic for this episode came from the fact that we were having a chat the other day, and I was saying to Annabelle that I find it difficult to know where to put my adverbs in Spanish. Basically, we were talking about breakfast that particular day, and I said, I finished my breakfast quickly. Now, when I finish my breakfast quickly, in English, that adverb goes at the end, or I could say, I quickly finished my breakfast. In Spanish, where does that adverb go?
Well, that's what we are going to be learning today.
Sounds good. So we're talking about adverbs and where they go. Now, adverbs, first of all, let's think about what adverbs are, because typically, there's an adverb, typically.
Yes.
Adverbs typically end in English in ly, and in Spanish, typically they end in mente.
Eso es.
But they don't always end in ly in English, and they don't always end in mente in Spanish. Give us an example of an adverb.
Well, we have very, we have often, always, yesterday, all of these.
All of these are adverbs because they give more information about when you did something, how you did something, and what was happening when you were doing something, in a sense.
Eso es.
So let's look at some examples.
Okay, so let's start with the adverbs of quantity and manner. Quantity, so we are talking about quantity, a lot, not like a little few, etc. And also manner, how something is done.
Right. So how something is done and how much there is of something.
Eso es.
Okay.
These tend to go on the default placement is after the verb.
Okay. So give us an example.
So corro mucho.
So I run a lot. Mucho is our adverb there, and it comes after the verb. Corro, I run a lot. Corro mucho.
Eso es. And has hablado bien español, for example.
You have spoken good Spanish. You've spoken well in Spanish.
Eso es.
So, has hablado bien español. So there, the bien is coming after the verb has hablado. That's a compound verb. And in the perfect tense, you have spoken.
So, as I said, they tend to go after the verb. We can also have them before the verb, but then this is for emphasis.
Okay.
Okay, so we can say mucho corro, but this is for the context.
Yeah.
If I'm saying corro mucho, pero mucho corro. This is the emphasis.
Yeah. So you're putting mucho at the front, giving it more emphasis, as Annabelle explained, and that's where it's coming before. So could we say, bien he hablado español?
But for emphasis. So the context must be the correct one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's not really usual to use it there.
Eso es. So with these adverbs, they tend to go after the verb. However, some verbs tend to have a direct object.
Right. So a direct object would be the thing that we're doing something to. For example, I am reading a book. The book is a direct object there.
Eso es. So let's take that example. I read a book, leo un libro. Yeah. But I want to do it slowly.
Yeah.
So despacio, that's our adverb.
Despacio. So slowly. Be careful with despacio because it can mean slow, but it can also mean slowly.
Eso es.
So it's a little like fast in English. Fast can both be an adjective and an adverb. But with slowly, despacio, where are we going to put slowly when it comes to reading a book?
So after the verb, leo despacio un libro.
Leo despacio un libro. So I read slowly a book, which sounds strange in English.
Well, but it does not in Spanish.
So could we also say leo un libro despacio?
Sí.
So that would be more like the English word order. I read a book slowly. Leo un libro despacio.
Yeah, perfecto. If we want to emphasize, then it will be despacio, leo un libro.
Right, okay. So we can start with despacio, but it's only in that case for emphasis.
Yeah, like to say that I'm not reading it fast, I'm just like doing it slowly. So, despacio, leo un libro.
Okay, despacio, leo un libro. So you mentioned there that those are adverbs of quantity or manner, but we've also got different types of adverbs. For example, adverbs of place.
Eso es, like allí, for example. So these are the same. We can have it before the verb for emphasis, after the verb, or after the object that we have.
Okay, so allí, there meaning there. So over there, allí. Let's put that into a sentence.
Okay, so vi allí a Juan.
So I saw, vi, allí, there, a Juan.
Eso es.
Juan. So I saw Juan there. Now just remember, just in case you're not familiar with this, that a Juan is a personal a. We need to use a personal a, there's a special a, with people when they are the direct objects. So, vi a Juan, I saw Juan. Vi a Juan. And where did you see Juan? Allí, there. So, vi allí a Juan. But can we put allí elsewhere?
Yes. Vi a Juan allí.
Vi a Juan allí. I saw Juan there.
And if we want to say that it was over there, but it was not here, then it's allí vi a Juan.
Allí vi a Juan. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So that's adverbs of place.
We also have adverbs of frequency, like always, often, etc. And these work the same.
Okay.
So, for example, now let's use vi, but now TV. So we are not using the personal a.
Yeah.
So it's veo siempre la tele.
Okay, so veo, I watch, or I see. We'll come back to that. Siempre, always, la tele, the television. So I always watch TV. Now, we can use ver when we're talking about to see someone, as we've seen with Juan. And we can also use ver as in to watch something when we're talking about the television or a film. So, veo una película. So, vi, or siempre veo la televisión, you said.
Veo siempre la televisión. Although siempre veo la televisión is also a possibility.
That works as well. Does that sound more emphatic?
Yes.
Okay, siempre veo la televisión. Okay, and could we say veo la televisión siempre?
Sí, también.
So 3 possibilities again. Veo siempre la televisión. Veo la televisión siempre. And siempre veo la televisión for emphasis.
Perfecto. So with these adverbs, we have like these 3 placements. However, we have never said that they can go before the subject. If I want to say like you, like Mark watches TV always, then I cannot say siempre Mark ve la televisión.
Right. Okay. So that is different then. Okay. So far in this episode, we've talked about adverbs of quantity and manner. We've talked about adverbs of place and frequency. But there's one other group of adverbs that we've not spoken about, adverbs of time.
Eso es. So these are mañana, hoy, el verano pasado, etc.
So even though el verano pasado is a noun, last summer, it's used adverbially because we're talking about when something happened. Last summer, we went to Spain.
Eso es. So with these ones, we can place them like at the beginning of the sentence. So before the subject.
Okay. So we could say, yesterday, Rafa won the competition.
Eso es, sí. So it would be, ayer Rafa ganó el campeonato.
Ayer Rafa ganó el campeonato. And that is not stressing that it was yesterday as opposed to any other time.
No.
So where else could we put ayer in that sentence?
The rest of the place.
All right, okay.
So we can say, Rafa ayer ganó el campeonato. So before the verb. Rafa ganó ayer el campeonato after the verb. And Rafa ganó el campeonato ayer.
So 4 possibilities there. When we've got a verb, we've got a direct object, and we've got this adverb of time. It can go before the subject, it can go before the verb, it can go after the verb, or it even can go after the direct object.
Bueno, now I have a challenge or a question for you.
Okay.
How do we say in Spanish, I quickly finished my breakfast?
So exactly what we started with, I quickly finished my breakfast. So quickly is an adverb of manner. Therefore, it can, if we wanted to stress the quickly, I suppose I could say rápidamente terminé mi desayuno.
Perfecto.
But if I don't want to stress that quickly, I can just say terminé rápidamente mi desayuno.
Perfecto.
Or terminé mi desayuno rápidamente.
Estupendo, perfecto.
Pues Ya está. Not quite.
Let's say that now it's like this morning, and I want you to use the perfect tense.
Right. So this morning, I finished my breakfast quickly. Esta mañana, this morning, is one of our adverbs. Esta mañana he terminado mi desayuno rápidamente.
Muy bien.
Or esta mañana rápidamente he terminado mi desayuno.
Perfecto.
Or esta mañana he terminado rápidamente mi desayuno.
Perfecto.
But one thing that's worth mentioning here, and that is in English, we can say, I have quickly finished something. So we can put our adverb in English in between our auxiliary verb and the past participle, but we can't do that in Spanish.
No.
Okay, so we couldn't say,
No.
I don't even want to say
try it. No, it's not possible. We cannot add anything between like those two verbs when it's compound.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Okay.
Pues eso es todo por ahora.
Creo que sí.
Bueno.
Now, we hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Finding out where to place those adverbs, a tricky topic in Spanish. But of course, we've got a written version of everything, so you can check out our blog article to help you consolidate everything that you've learned. The link for that is in the description for this episode.
And if you want like further help with your Spanish, then remember that you can get regular free email lessons just like straight to your inbox. And in order to get those, you need to visit coffeebreaklanguages.com/Spanish.
So you can look out for that coming very soon. If you've signed up for that, that's it for this episode. Muchas gracias, Anabel.
Gracias a ti y a vosotros.
Y hasta la próxima.
Happy coffee breaking.
You have been listening to a Coffee Break Languages production for the Radio Lingua Network. Copyright 2023 Radio Lingua Limited. Recording copyright 2023 Radio Lingua Limited. All rights reserved.